Reaching you live from the Brown Roof City called Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State. It's a wonderful Tuesday, and I hope that you stick around with us today because we have so much in store for you. Of course, we're kicking off with straight from the dailies. We'll be looking at the stories making headlines in Nigerian newspapers, and of course, we've got the gentlemen in the building. We've got Plateau here. Good morning, Plateau.
Good morning, Ronnie. Good morning, Nigeria.
Yes, and of course, we've got Barrister Yomi Ogunlola here.
Yes, Nigeria. Good morning, Ronke, Plateau, SM, and our cameraman.
Hope you both had restful nights.
Of course. Oh
wow, in your area it's been really poor.
I know your own is exclusive,
exclusive area.
VVIP area.
Oh wow. All right, well, we're thankful that at least you have positive news this morning. Let me race through some headlines, and of course we'll take details of some stories in the papers this morning. You squandered your goodwill. Delta government blasts APC. This is in the Vanguard newspaper this morning. The Vanguard newspaper also said food security minister says agricultural research will be given priority. We'll also find in the Vanguard newspaper this morning of Buhari, Afenifere, and the gate. The world is looking at us. This is a story that you want to also read up on this morning. I'll also find in the Tribune newspaper, judiciary must be free from all interference. This is the president with this headline. And also in the papers, ASU threatens fresh strike, gives federal government 21-day ultimatum to implement agreement. Oyo Park managers who allegedly beat Okada rider to death over 100 naira sent to prison custody. This is also in the Tribune newspaper. You can read up on it as well. But let's dive in real quickly. Of course, the talking point today, which is leading, is the panel, NSAS panel report. It says here in the Vanguard newspaper, the Lagos State Judicial Panel of Inquiry on restitution for victims of SARS-related abuses and other matters, Lagos NSAS panel has reported the Lekki Tollgate shootings of October 2020 as a massacre. The panel indicted soldiers and implicated Nigeria's security agents in the killing and forced disappearances of harmless and unarmed youths protesting at Lekki Tollgate on October 2020. The Justice Doris Okwobi and killing of unarmed, helpless and unresisting protesters while sitting on the floor and waving their Nigerian flags while singing the national anthem can be equated to a massacre in context. And it just saddens me, really saddens my soul, because when was October that we sort of commemorated the 1 year anniversary? And I remember vividly the Minister of Information and Culture saying, people were just being dramatic once again. I mean, what are your thoughts on this, Plateau? Because, I mean...
Well, for me, I think of the 309 pages, page report, the page 294 seems to be the orb of it. And, it's a major attraction because for the panel to have, arrived at that conclusion, like they rightly said, and this is what some of us have also said, that we know how the army has operated in the past. And a very good example was what happened with the Shiites, where dead bodies were taken away. And so up to date, it was until the Kaduna State government set up a panel that they exhumed, a mass burial site. And that seemed to be the tradition of the Nigerian army in recent time. Now, if the panel has said this, then the question is this report just going to lie down there? Exactly. Thank God that it was the federal government itself that asked these different state governments to set up a judicial panel of inquiry. So my own concern here is, what is the next line of action? Would that panel report just lie down there? One, I had the opportunity of interviewing one of the lawyers who represent, one of the counsel who represented some of the victims, of police brutality, and who at the level of the panel, and he said that now the question is, has there been any prosecution, or is that panel calling for a prosecution of any police officer? Because beyond, being a jury, you can recommend. Now, I haven't seen that, in the panel report. Because if we don't do this, how do we, how does it serve as deterrent to others who would, if you know that all you would do is set up a panel of inquiry, and then at the end, last, everybody will go their way. It will all be about sorry. If we do not take some persons to the cleaners, and I'll give you a very good example. In spite of the reconciliation move by President Kagame in Rwanda after the Hutu Tutsi crisis, persons who were fingered as being the arrowheads of these massacres, this genocide, were sent to prison. Yes, there was a Gukana principle which was meant to, facilitate the reconciliation of persons, but then there were sanctions. And if you don't have sanctions and all you do is just a pat on the back,
right,
then
exactly.
you can be sure that you are only creating an avenue, or you're sending a message to people that anybody can always get away with things like this.
But then who do you take to the cleaners, barrister? For example, even here we still do not know. We've been asking who gave the order. Sanwo-Olu has been seeming like, it wasn't me, somebody asked me, but till today we don't know who this somebody is. You've talked about how it's even the federal government that ordered for a panel. So it's like somebody did something, and then I'm the one saying, who did it? Let's find out who did it. And at the end of the day, I think it's even more and more gaslighting at the end of the day. And for me, I'm just really happy for this lady, DJ Switch, because for the past 1 year, she's had to be like some sort of
a refugee.
Yes, refugee, because people have said, she just obviously exaggerated what happened. What are your thoughts, barrister?
Well, you see, Ronke, there are different ways to view what has happened. I think number one, this is a damning report. Yes, thank God you mentioned Lai Mohammed when he came out in his usual line mode, and was preempting the panel. And thank God that we here did justice, to the issue. It is unconscionable that a government that swore on oath to secure the lives of the people and take care of their welfare would use the same weapons of state bought by the people against the people. Turn the guns of state against the people.
People were sitting down and waving the Nigerian flag.
It is unconscionable, and any government that breaches those fundamental requirements of government has lost justification. It has lost legitimacy. And such a government should be rejected by the people. The panel findings is out. The act of a servant in those things in which he is usually employed is considered the act of his master, who is thereby in law vicariously liable for the servant's deed. And that is what we have seen. Now, let me add to what Plato said earlier. You see, the truth of the matter is, where there is a right, there is always a remedy. The panel was given a mandate to inquire into what happened at Lekki on that fateful day, or should I call it unfateful day. That is the job of the panel. And the panel has done its inquiry. It has made recommendations. But because the Lagos state government, which constituted the panel, was also a member, participated actively, of course, Nemo Judas in Kosasua, it cannot be a judge in its own cause. And that's why the Lagos state government has decided to send the panel report to the Nigeria National Council of States. So we will await, the final say from that body of supposedly, elders of the society. This is sad.
Very, very sad.
This is sad.
It's
a government will turn its guns against the people it swore on oath to protect, Buhari's government has lost all legitimacy.
Well, I mean, upon the key findings, amongst others, the panel made a total of 32 recommendations, which include, but are not limited to, holistic police reforms covering welfare, training, and proper equipping of policemen and the working environment, which is what people were fighting for on that day. I mean, sad.
For God's holy sake.
You know, so the fact that people were, this is exactly what they were fighting for. Also, they said sanctioning of the officers of the Nigerian army and the Nigerian police force, respectively, who participated in shooting, injuring, and killing of unarmed protesters. Development of more robust engagement between the youth and the government. Setting up of a standing committee tribunal to deal with cases of violation of human rights by security agencies, and a trust fund to settle compensation awarded by such committee tribunal. A public apology to NSAS protesters who were killed, injured, and traumatized by the incident of the 20th of October 2020, and the memorialization of the Lekki toll gate on the 20th of October. I'm not sure if they've started charging. I know they're going to reopen it.
Anyway, let me add the people's own recommendation to the Council of State. And that recommendation is that let Nigeria start acting like the countries in the other climes, the civilized world. Lai Mohammed must be relieved of his position because the panel report has contradicted his position. In an ideal society, Lai resignation letter.
Actually, Barris, I think he's still writing, but the pen is not working. but the thing I also see here, I think the highlights, the high point of that recommendation for me is the desire, the demand that we have a special court for. Demand your rights. Of course, fundamental issues to go to the High Court, and then you want to, and the whole bureaucracy. Now the judge, before whom you are appearing, has litany of cases before him. But with a special court, it would go a long way in facilitating. I know that the High Courts, our different High Courts are trying on that. But then when you have a special court, that would go a long way in, speeding up the whole process of getting reliefs in this situation. And again, when cases of police brutality or, brutality from any member of a security force happens, they seem to just get a pat or a slap on the wrist.
Yes.
You see, the welfare of
no
the
strong
state.
message is sent to say that this is not acceptable.
And by a pat on the wrist, I'm not even talking about the officers involved. They are senior officers. See, when you take senior officers, now, when you say that for every, I'll give you examples. For every misdemeanor, undertaken by junior officers under you, you are also going to answer for it.
You will sit up, because then you are responsible.
And look at police stations where they have DPOs that are no-nonsense persons who will not give room for such. You will see that the level of police brutality under them is always minimal. I'll give you an example. DPO, Songo Police Station, when now Deputy Commissioner of Police, Sibyl Akinfenwa was there. Okay. This was a place, even when she was at Bodija, the level of police brutality was minimal, because even as a police officer, you know that she can send you to, you can also be remanded for any form of abuse. So every police officer under her constrains themselves and restrain themselves. But when you know that, imagine when our dear, now the former head of, what's it called? PPRO, who was always running his mouth on Twitter, was here at Mokola. What was Mokola police station like? So you will know police officers by. So
by
for some of us who have known him before now, will know that it wasn't a shock.
Well, you see, I still say this: the welfare of the state is the highest law, and what has now been proved by record ought not to be denied by the authorities. And I say this, Buhari's government, I was almost saying Babangida, he who does not disapprove approves. Buhari's government must show to Nigerians that they actually disapprove, particularly what happened in Lekki. And they should not spare the guilty, because by sparing the guilty, they punish the innocent.
Absolutely. All right, on that note, let's take a short commercial break. It is straight from the dailies, and we've been bringing you stories straight from the newspapers.
This festive.
Wow, I feel good.
Because I choose non-stop sports action.
Tucks it away. So good.
But you also brought someone along who's not a member.
Yeah, I choose local drama filled with suspense.
Feel nice.
We've got a serious case of the wedgies.
For my kids, I choose cartoon shows that are full of laughter.
I feel good.
Hell yeah! Choose over 135 channels full of joyful entertainment.
I knew that I wouldn't.
You too, choose joy this holidays. DSTV, it's your moment.
I bet you think this is going to be one of those ads where someone says, introducing, to sell some new improved product to you.
But we feel there are more important things in life, like driving carefully on rainy days to avoid splashing water on pedestrians.
Or stopping to help someone change a flat tire.
Because what really matters is being the change.
Lipton Yellow Label Tea. Awaken to what really matters.
Arenax Plus ní orúkọ tó yẹ kó o rántí ní ìgbàkúùgbà tí ó bá fẹ́ rí ara rẹ tí o sì nílò láti lo oògùn ibà lọ́nà tó rọrùn. Arenax Plus ní oògùn ibà tá a ṣe pẹ̀lú èròjà Artemether àti lumefantrine tí yóò lé àìsàn ibà dànù kúrò láàgọ́ ara rẹ ní kíákíá láìsí ìnira kankan. Ó dára fún ọmọdé àti àgbàlagbà. Arenax Plus ṣá àìsàn ibà bá.
Big and better. The Splash FM, Lagelu FM Santa Claus Christmas Fun Fair. Parents, schools, guidance, it's time to have fun again with your children as Splash FM, Lagelu FM welcomes Santa Claus all the way from Rome.
Merry Christmas!
Starting from Wednesday, December 1st to 24th December 2021 at the Pass Shopping Mall, Ring Road, Ibadan. Children and parents will be having great fun with the OAPs of their choice, celebrities, and music artists. There will be face painting, bouncy castles, train ride, dancing competition, and Kiva's beauty parade. Just for a token, schools and organization will be given 20% discount. Don't miss this fun. For further inquiry, please call 0805 699 8703. 0805 699 8703. Splash FM, Lagelu FM Santa Claus Christmas Fun Fair. Family time to have great fun.
Christmas time is almost here with the LifeMade Christmas Special. 6th of November to the 31st of December. Feel the Christmas spirit with a 48% slice in prices on all products. A 20% slash on all Royal Furniture products. Buy products of 100,000 Naira and above to get giveaways worth maximum of 800,000 Naira. Head to the central showrooms near you and enjoy fun games this festive season with LifeMade. Participate in awesome games like the Sandbag Toss and the Ring Toss. Stand a chance to win Bluetooth speakers, aromatherapy and power banks from Santa. Feel the Christmas spirit. LifeMade. Your life made forever.
Mommy, my teacher said 90% of my brain will develop by the time I am 5.
Really? What else did she say?
She said I need iron in my food for my brain to grow well.
Oh, very true. And that's why I give you Cerelac Junior every day, which provides half of your daily iron need.
Make you join the Obunge Yellow Awoof giveaway. They jollificate with extra 500% bonus anytime when you recharge with 100 Naira or more on top MTN Better Talk. And if you like everyday Awoof, na star 888 hash, you go take recharge to enjoy 600% Awoof bonus on top MTN Awoof for you and enjoy 700% extra bonus every time when you recharge 100 Naira or more on top MTN Yafu Yafu. So turn up Awoof with a boost brain.
Everywhere you go, MTN.
Welcome back. It is still straight from the dailies, and of course, we're looking at the stories making headlines in Nigerian newspapers. I mean, if you're watching us live, even when we're on the break, I'm sure you could see from my expression that we're just really troubled, with the revelations that have come out from, the NSAS panel, and it just makes you realize that, this country, there's still a lot of work we need to do. Our government still needs to do a lot of work. There's still quite a number of things that can happen that obviously should not be happening in 2021. Abiodun Falaye on Facebook says the panel of restitution on the massacre at Lekki Tollgate had done very well. Let the state compensate all the victims' parents and the Nigerian army to tender a 5-page apology letter to the bereaved parents. May God Almighty comfort the bereaved family. Amen.
Thank you, Jerry.
Yes, Chigozie Okeke says good morning or watching live from Igongon, Ibarapa, or your state. Thank you very much, Chigozie from Igongon. Wow, interesting. I like that. And of course, Ozo is watching from Amagunze in Enugu State. He says, whatever happens, there is God. After human action comes God's judgment. May God help us all. Ebenezer on Lekki, she says Minister of Information should be sacked immediately for misleading the people. And the way he just went about it is what for me is I mean, I can imagine, because at some point even I myself started thinking, okay, maybe we just exaggerated all that happened, because first and foremost we talked off air, we talked about how we didn't see family members coming out to say, I can't find my son, no, I can't find, it was just a couple of people that we saw who came out and said, oh, their son, so for me I started thinking, but I guess the government did a good job of ensuring that, you would want to, doubt the veracity of the claims of the protesters that some persons were killed. Because now it's difficult to bring up. But some of us have premised our argument on what could have happened at Lekki based on experiences. There's something about past experiences. We saw what happened in Odi. I hope you know that up to date, dead bodies of those who were killed in Odi were not found. We saw what happened with the Shiites. That it took the exhuming of bodies by the Kaduna government to exhume. Now, again, these people must have learned lessons. That it is because we what even told you that they could not have cremated them?
You see,
that's crazy.
Let me add this for the comments you have made. The comments from our listeners. That the one who sins when drunk ought to be punished when sober. Yes, so they should be punished.
Absolutely.
But then, I want to come to what Plato is saying. Those people who were denying what happened in Lekki. There was a protest going on. How else do they think the security forces dispersed the crowd?
Oh, let me read this comment, Barrister. Let me read this comment from Elsie Morale. It says, I don't believe it was trained members of the Nigerian army that carried out that dastardly act. I believe it was bandits wearing military uniforms. I hope he's being sarcastic. Let me read to the end. They came on bikes, some wearing slippers. I don't believe the Nigerian army will shoot a citizen waving the Nigerian flag. There are lots of these bandits riding commercial bikes in Lagos. Care should be taken that they don't overrun Lagos and Southwest as a whole.
Now that's an argument. Let me also make this addendum. Again, when someone was trying to, tell me we're having a serious argument, he said, no, it couldn't have happened. And I said, see, I was at the barricades for over a decade. I've been shot at several times. So I understand how security forces operate when it comes to dispersing a protest. So I can use my personal experience to say, this is not impossible.
So is it true if you're waving a flag that you really would not?
Forget flag in Nigeria. Which flag?
The question I am asking.
Even the man that designed the flag does not honor the flag again.
How did they disperse the crowd? Did they bring rainmakers there?
Or tear gas?
So there must have been that force.
Barrister, they went to Igboho's house Abali, so they came there also with Joe to disperse them.
You see, look, we are in a country where it is so scarce, so expensive finding patriotism. People are no longer patriotic, not even the soldiers, because from the reports we have been getting here and there, everybody appears to be taking care of self. Our soldiers are taking care of self at the detriment of their national duty. Our politicians are taking care of self at the detriment of national duty. And what do you expect the people to do?
I think the whole concept of national duty...
The whole thing is a mess. Let us call ourselves together now and remold this contraction.
Let me just race through a few more comments. Eze Oden says, tears in my eyes for every number present, a human being, for coming out to say, please change the way you're ruling us. They came out not with gun. The same happening in say Buhari. Where did we wrong you? All right, Do Gabriel says, good morning. Splash crew, Minister of Information, Lai Mohammed must go. Eze says, I beg, this is not the time to start defending our terrorist army, please. There is way of oppression. Benue Imo Shiites, unless you are one of them, know that hard judgment awaits you. Says Muhyiddin says, Barrister, sorry, I want NEPA for any electricity. All right. Okay, thank you very much. I mean, we could go on and on with this conversation, and I hope that this conversation continues and until people are held accountable.
Yes.
It should not just end with this report. We must ensure that it's
as from
executed.
now, if you are listening to me, as from now, hashtag Lai Mohammed must go. Let's
Barrister to
exactly.
It's actually a losing battle. See, I've come to realize that there are certain things about the Nigerian government that does not get.
I am itching to go to court.
Barrister.
And get some declarations against them, even if it is not impossible.
I think it was Gani that was telling us something. The late Gani Fayemi was telling us something, in his days, and he said something. He said, when you are protesting against a Nigerian official, don't go and protest on the road where he's passing. He said, and some of us were like, why? He said, because he is rounding up his glass. He does not see you.
Hear you. Yes.
So he can't see you. Also, don't protest on social media. They don't read these things. Exactly. That's the truth.
They have banned the.
It is when you read that you have PTSD from what you have read.
Exactly.
They are not like Banky W. See, that's the truth. They don't read all these things. Do they read the newspaper? It is whatever the aid comes, and then the aid will not tell them what to get them disappointed. It will simply tell them what they want to hear.
I mean, it's sad. All right, let me just race through. Aroni Yahya, thank you very much. Benga Titebi, thank you. Nothing has changed since then. God help Nigeria. Mr. Moyos, thank you very much. He's watching from Kwara. Thank you very much. Simpson Talk says, whoever said me Nigeria never happened to you is a prophet. It seems Nigeria looks for new ways to deprive her citizens of any semblance of life. See how Itunu was abandoned in Ivory Coast. You heard about the lady who was arrested in Ivory Coast for what she did not know, and we didn't have anybody to stand up for her, and now she's died in prison. The story is in the papers. You can actually read it, but it's a pathetic story of a young lady, of course, I'm sure, who was looking for greener pastures. And that's the thing, you're running away from Nigeria.
And it tells you again of, what you can almost call how this thing happens everywhere. She challenged a DPO, she was attacked by someone.
She was robbed.
She reported. She was robbed.
Yes.
The DPO said the person is his nephew.
Yes.
And then, as a result of that, got her incarcerated. Gosh.
Wow.
Impunity
upon impunity. It's not
look at what is happening in Tunisia as well.
That is the word.
A president woke up one day.
That is what defines Nigeria. That is what defines its officers. And unfortunately, it defines the people too.
Oh, right. Ademola Ogunlade says only God can save this country from maladministration. Every person involved in the killings of innocent people at Lekki should be punished and be seen to have been punished. That's what I like. Should be punished and be seen to have been punished. We need to see, because unless you will never send a strong message that this kind of thing ought not to be happening. How can you kill your citizens?
How for God, you kill your people? Does it not also add up to this? The audaciousness of one person who is called a fake CSP. Having the audacity to raid the home of a Supreme Court judge, not a magistrate.
Audacity
the level of impunity.
Plateau audacity here go drone. What they are telling us now is that fake CSP went to court and got a magistrate, a chief magistrate, to sign a warrant. Unknown soldier, unknown government.
Barrister.
I've told Barrister to wax a record.
Exactly. With this is cap. When you go out, they are waiting for you. Go and see Barrister's cap, please. Go to Facebook and see Barrister is touching.
But let me say this to the people.
Right.
It will be foolish for you to fall into a pit twice. We are in a democracy.
Barrister.
We are in a democracy.
Okay.
And the ultimate power belongs to the people. How you exercise your power now your business. This government has lost legitimacy.
EndSARS has just taught me that when you say that the power belongs to the people, and they have different ways of taking your voice.
And the people themselves are
they can only try. They can only try.
Barrister,
But the panel's report justifies that position.
Barrister.
That it is ultimately the people who have the power.
And then what?
Barrister, I think you'll be shocked. You'll be shocked that if there's an election today, the panel report was released yesterday.
Yes.
Then there's an election today.
These same people will.
The bulk of these people who are also joining us to say will say that their choice is caught between APC and PDP.
Exactly.
That's a fact. An election was conducted not long after the NSAS protest in Lagos East. Yes, regardless of the fact that the candidates may not have a hand in it, but we saw what it was all about the two parties.
Absolutely. All right, let's take some calls. I was going to talk about the students of UI kicking against graduate and saying. Kicking against US decision to ban lower grades, only allowing first class, but I don't know if we have time. So I'm sure people want to speak on this Lekki Toge thing. But the headline says graduates decry UI's decision banning lower grades from convocation hall. So if you're the only people that had first class.
I am an alumnus of the university, and I think it's even pathetic that graduates are coming and say, you will ban me from when I expect. You see, some of these things. I may not be following the conventional method, and I know some people who know me will say, it is expected. You cannot ban me. We will be in that all together. I want to see the person that will bounce me out.
That position is even unconstitutional.
I will tell you to bring the person that will bounce me out.
Don't worry.
I can imagine the students feeling cheated. You've been waiting for years for this, and then they now tell you because you got a 2-1.
Some of them
even if you got a third class. You are still, it's your...
Even if you get a certificate of attendance.
Discrimination is not allowed.
Okay, let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Our constitution.
They could say COVID. They wanted to, obviously, they could not accommodate everybody.
All of us will be inside.
They let them do it virtually.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning to you, my sister. Platty, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Elmi, good morning, sir.
Yes.
Good morning.
Elmi, with due respect, I agree with you this morning. Do you know why? We said we are practicing democracy. All power belongs to the people. No, not in Nigeria. I'm quite disagree. People think kleptocracy. Why are the present administration under the leadership of President Muhammadu Buhari continue to be telling lies for the people of this country? That nobody died at the Lekki shootout. Why are they doing like this? Nigeria are fed up all this by Mr. Lai Mohammed. We are fed up. Let's call this. Look at the structure. That's why I said it on this platform. The structure, current structure, we have do not have integrity. Look of them. Good morning, Mr. Obasho.
Thank you very much, Abu
Okay,
Kasim.
so Bajo, you think this is a crazy?
Well, Abu Kasim on Facebook says ultimate power belongs to people. If actually they would not sell their birthright for a Congo of rice. Hello, good morning there.
Good morning, Mr. Onafuwa.
Good morning, Charles.
Good morning, Good morning, Barrister. Good morning, Plato.
Good morning,
Charlie boy.
It is easy for us to say Lai Mohammed must go. But as we check the processes that break up all these ministers, and if you look at the case of Antami, even with all the outcry, he's still there. You have to change the situation whether it is the president that appoints those who become the ministers. Because to me, the ministers only see their allegiance to the president. They don't see their allegiance to the people of Nigeria or to the Federal Republic of Nigeria. They don't see only as the true representative of the people. So they are the ones that should be appointed.
Well, thank you very much. I mean, absolutely. Absolutely. No one is accountable anymore. People don't really feel like they're serving the people. They're just serving the president. And until, they just want to do eye service.
That is where we are getting it wrong.
Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name, please?
This is Akimbolu Sherry.
Akimbolu Sherry, good to have you here today. Go ahead.
Yeah. When Nigeria was celebrating the first year of Lekki shootout, somebody on Facebook is aware of person mentioned the person's name, Barrister and Plato, we know the person. He said that they were expecting the organizers to roll out the names of the victims, just as it was done during the 9/11. So I was so angry that these people, the Guaris, I don't know what used to come over them. Now I believe every one of them now know the truth. And about Lai Mohammed will never leave office.
Hello?
We
lost him again?
We lost him again. All right, let's take this. Hello, good morning. Hi, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. What's your name, please?
I'm Olushola Julius.
Okay, Olushola Julius. I thought so. Go ahead.
Barrister.
Yes, Julie.
Congratulations for having electricity last night.
Don't congratulate yet. Before I left home this morning, I think they took it again. No?
Democracy for you, sir.
Democracy.
Now, I appreciate those panel for their courage, their doggedness. Even despite humiliation and threat from the government of the day, that they have come out with that report. It is a relief to all of us as Nigerians that yes, we are now convinced that something bad happened at the Lekki toll gate. But what's really important is the God of heaven will punish all of them. Good morning.
I am imagining what CNN will come up with in their editorials.
And to think that even when CNN came out with, reports, they also made it seem like, CNN was just chatting.
The argument would be that satellite footages don't really will not capture reality.
I mean, for me, I don't like the God to punish them, because at the end of the day, that whole leaving it to God to punish them, we need for me, it's
Ronke,
just redundant.
Ronke,
God will punish them.
Why do you think Nigeria is the way it is now?
Because God hasn't punished them?
No.
Okay.
The absence of law enforcement is the shortest cut to Hobbes' world.
Absolutely.
The absence of law enforcement is the shortest cut to Hobbes' world.
All right. Well, that's all we can do today. Our time is up, apparently. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for your time here.
You're most welcome.
And thank you for your comments on Facebook. Loved reading your comment. Thank you for your text messages and comments as well. We appreciate you being here and being a part of the program. I hope I didn't miss, because the last time Charles almost sued me because I didn't take some comments. So, oh wow, there are a few comments here. So let me race through them. Good morning. A proper investigation should be carried out on what happened at Lekki. Those culpables should be punished according to the law. God's time. From money, thank you. Buhari must go to. I won't read the second line. May we never have this type of president again. All right, Olabode, thank you very much. I don't know if this is for us. Yes, Boyega says, gentlemen, I think regardless of what the Council of State recommendations will be on the panel report, this report that of the Shiites killing by the police and the army should be sent to ICC for further investigations. I know ICC will not cover the guilty for violating human rights. Boyega. Good morning, Barrister and Plato. You guys would have been great as church ministers as well, not necessarily to be pastors. I love your contributions. Good morning, SMH. Thank you. And of course, I think it's the last one. Okay,
maybe you start calling God.
I mean, all right. Well, thank you so much for being a part of the program. We've got more Sports Bang is coming up at 7:30, and don't forget to join me when I'm back at 8 o'clock.
What are we getting for your?
For 8 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay, this week is actually anti-bullying week, so I'm going to be talking about bullying, and obviously not just how we know it. I'm glad you know what I'm talking about. Bullying is not just something that happens in classroom by just a 10-year-old who knocks down a 2-year-old. Sometimes some of us.
I want political leaders, no.
And the bullying by Nigerians themselves to Nigerians.
Exactly. Thank you very much. So please tune in at 8 o'clock, because I'll be taking telephone calls as well. I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa. Good morning.
Oh, lunch. Guys, I'm going for lunch. Please, put more stew.